Welcome to our channel again, and this is our second reaction video.
Yeah,
I am Srinidhi Adwa.
and I'm Surya, aka JQ.
Hmm.
Yeah. So today's topic
Is space.
space. All right.
Yeah. So in space there are quite a lot of topics like black holes and mining the different planet, asteroids. But today we are going to speak specifically about interplanetary travel.
Oh, okay.
Uh, Before we speak about this concept, we have to know a few basics about it.
Yeah, and I haven't seen any of these things videos. I haven't seen it. So.
I will show this video one by one
Mm-hmm.
and explain you
Okay.
about interplanetary travel.
All right.
So we have a few videos which will explain basics about this. So let's start with our first video.
Okay.
And
This
it
one,
is
right?
It will explain how big is our space.
Our Milky Way galaxy. How big is this? How big is space?
Yes.
Okay. 100,000 light years. The Milky Way. Distance. Specific period of time. One light second.
Quite 3 lakh kilometers.
Oh, I never knew this. One light hour.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Hundred light years.
100 light years. Already it's getting so. What to say? It's making me feel uncomfortable.
Definitely.
Yeah, because it is so big, so huge. Man,
Yeah. This is about how big is space. And next video is about distance between Earth and Moon.
Oh.
But about this video, what is your feedback?
see, usually in school times we obviously learned light years, all these things, but along the way you forget it because you're, busy with everything else happening, and you don't think of it. But now when it is shown to you again with so much details, and after you've grown and after so much of understanding, right? It's like, whoa, it just blows your mind. So much distance, because see, every second that you look, see, we put these lights also, right?
Yeah.
It's so fast. It's like by the time you could even imagine or blink, it's just so fast. But we never knew that light. I mean, initially, in the early days, we never knew that light travels. It's like, you switch it on, it's on. That's what we used to think, right? But from the time it's on, from the way it travels, right? That.
Definitely. This is just about Milky Way galaxy. Just imagine there are billions of galaxy. This is just one part of it. Okay.
Okay, I'll go to the next one.
Definitely.
Okay, so the distance between
Earth and Moon.
Okay. Can forward these things. Earth. 12,756
56
kilometers. It started. $100,000 kilometers.
Kilometers.
200,000
Pause it.
kilometers. Yes.
Can you guess the how much 1,000 kilometers away Moon is from Earth?
I'm not that pro in these things, but I know it's pretty far. Probably 500,000 kilometers.
Let's check then.
Okay. It's there.
Almost there. Yeah.
Okay. I said a little bit too much, but yeah. So the moon is 384,400 kilometers.
This is average distance.
Average.
But the distance changes because Moon is orbiting the Earth.
Yeah.
The path is different.
Uh-huh.
Scientists will find the best path to send the satellites to Moon.
Mm-hmm. By this calculation. Ah, 30 planets the size of Moon.
Yeah. Could fit 30 planets the size of Earth.
Bro, why is it that, we... usually most of us, we don't know or remember this information. It's like, only certain people have to remember it. Is it like that? No, it's like everybody's from Earth, right?
Yeah.
So we should know about the planet and everything around it. It's like only some videos come up and they just teach us.
Now we know how far is Moon, but still it is affecting the Earth's gravity also.
Yeah.
It is, you can see the waves in the oceans and seas.
The tides and all
tides,
that, right? Yeah.
The
During
full moon day.
yeah.
and
Correct.
so much of effect.
And even for the moon affects, I've heard this thing, right? It affects the cycles, like how, like you said, it affects cycles on Earth, right? It
Yes.
affects the same thing that, women having periods and all. It's the same thing. The cycles.
We can see the next video.
All right. This is done.
So now we know the distance between Earth and Moon. We will check
Is there weather on moon? We asked a NASA scientist.
NASA scientist. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there weather on the moon? Well, because the moon doesn't have a significant atmosphere like Earth, it does not experience weather like wind or atmospheric temperature or precipitation like rain and snow. However, the moon does experience what we refer to as space weather.
Space weather.
Space weather.
Space weather loosely refers to how changing conditions throughout the solar system, like the varying solar wind, which is composed of charged particles from the sun, and meteoroid streams affect planetary surfaces and volatile cycles. So at the moon, the solar wind and meteoroids have direct access to the surface, and they
Those are all meteorites falling
on the Moon.
Oh.
continuously alter the lunar soil. These same processes can eject gases from the lunar soil and form a very tenuous lunar atmosphere, which we refer to as an exosphere.
We are so lucky, bro. Imagine if that keeps happening on Earth.
Definitely.
It's like one meteor comes in.
We're done.
At Earth, our atmosphere and magnetosphere largely protects us from space weather. However, in the uppermost regions of Earth's atmosphere, it can be a problem for satellite technologies. So, Is there weather on the moon? The moon does not experience weather like on Earth related to the atmosphere. However, it does experience space weather, and that'll be very important to forecast as humans return to the moon.
It is not very much inhabitable for humans,
Yeah.
but we have to create a weather there for.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the scientists will be working on it already.
Yeah,
Bro, there are such brilliant people on this planet.
definitely.
You definitely
We'll
wonder
find the
if they're
way.
aliens or not. Shout out to Elon Musk for that.
We were expecting aliens to do half our job, but they didn't.
Okay, so next we go for
Next,
how long does it take to get to Mars?
Is it okay? Yeah, we can
That.
see that. Yeah.
Every 26 months, Mars and Earth are at their closest distance, which is about 57 million kilometers apart. During this time, if an unmanned NASA spacecraft were to leave Earth, traveling at 58,000 kilometers per hour, it would take a little over 40 days to get to the red planet. Not bad, right? Well, a quick trip would only be possible if the spacecraft followed a direct path, undisturbed by the wrath of the solar system and weight of life-sustaining resources. Unfortunately, space travel is far more complicated than a straight line. So ideally,
Obviously.
how long does it take to get to Mars? The solar system is constantly shifting, and the orbital mechanics behind each of the planets makes space travel really complex.
Bro, I really like the way these people design the
Explain
videos,
this.
right?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Because Earth and Mars have elliptical orbits, the distance between them varies considerably, and in order to send a spacecraft to Mars, the planets have to line up just right. It takes Earth 1 year to orbit the Sun, while it takes Mars about 1.9 years. So every time Mars completes a single orbit, Earth goes around the Sun almost twice. Historically for NASA, the best launch window to Mars occurs every 2 years and 2 months, or 26 months. During this time, a spacecraft can utilize what's considered the most energy-efficient path to Mars, known as the Hohmann transfer orbit. On this trajectory,
Hohmann transfer orbit.
Orbit.
the spacecraft follows an elliptical orbit around the Sun that intersects the orbit of Mars. It uses fuel to increase speed and velocity to break free of Earth's gravity field, and the spacecraft uses more fuel to decelerate in order to be captured into the Martian orbit. Then, it can ride Mars's orbital wave until it's ready to touch down on the surface. While the Hohmann transfer is considered the most efficient trajectory to get to Mars, the journey is still estimated to take roughly 260 days or 8 to 9 months with a manned spacecraft powered by chemical propulsion. So, NASA and private companies are trying to develop more.
Are you ready to be in space for 9 months? Do you want to go to Mars now?
I want to go, but then the things. I mean, it takes a lot to go there, bro. You have to sacrifice a lot to go there.
Let's see how much more we have to sacrifice.
Yeah.
more efficient propulsion systems that can get humans to Mars faster than chemical rockets used in the past. Specifically, a type of electric propulsion system that propels a spacecraft by accelerating a stream of electrically charged atoms known as ions, and a nuclear thermal propulsion system that uses low-enriched uranium as its power source. But even if we do engineer a faster way to get to Mars, a round trip is still estimated to take multiple months. And that means we also have to solve problems of human health and resource requirements during extended deep space missions.
Yeah.
Clearly,
That's what I was thinking about. So many
time
things.
is just one of many obstacles standing in the way of our Martian dreams. But still, NASA says it plans to send humans to Mars in the 2030s. So,
2030s. I think Elon Musk will do before that.
Just six more years for 2030 to end.
Yeah, only 6.
do you think it's actually going to happen? Let us know in the comments below. And
I think. What do you think first?
Who, SpaceX or NASA?
Whether whoever on this planet
Okay.
can they reach Mars?
Quite
Reach Mars is
difficult.
one. Will they land and set foot on Mars?
I think robots will land first before.
Yeah,
humans.
that. I think they've already landed, right?
They have sent rovers, but fully functional
Oh yeah, yeah.
robots.
Correct.
Not yet. But
See, that's one thing about AI, right? We spoke about AI last time,
yes,
but they can do all this right now.
definitely we can try. They can try.
They can try. We all can sit as audience and see.
Yeah.
They're too smart, bro.
Let's see. The more videos we watch, the more we learn about Mars,
Yeah.
and we'll find
see.
it out whether people can travel there or not.
But
Let's see.
I feel they can,
Okay.
but it'll take a lot. Do you think India can reach from India?
They don't have a human mission to Mars yet. They have Gaganyaan mission to Moon, sending aircraft personals. Sorry, Air Force personals there. But
So
not
all
yet
the
to
people
Mars.
whoever landed on Moon from India, but they're not Indians, right? They're all citizens of other countries.
In Moon, you're saying?
Yeah, on Moon.
Landed, yes.
Space.
12 people landed in Moon, all US citizens.
But not
Not
Indian.
Indian yet. Yeah.
I think there was one guy, right? Last time when we had a conversation about this, you told there was
Rakesh Sharma
Rakesh Sharma.
in 1970s actually.
Mm.
So he was in space, but he
Did not
the
land.
mission was not to go to Moon.
But if at all they do this, right? Which one? What do you say?
Gaganyaan.
Gaganyaan. If they do that, right, then it would be such a big thing for Indians actually.
Definitely, it's a proud moment for us.
Yes, I'm pretty sure we will do these things.
Yeah.
Okay, before I start this, the weather on Mars. I was going to ask that because when you're going to land on Mars, what if it is too hot? You just can't.
It's not hot, definitely, because Earth is near to Sun, Mars is away.
But Mars is a red planet, right?
Yeah, it's a red planet. It's away from the Sun. It should be colder. So let's see.
I don't know how colder. Fine,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Mars. Is it hot? Is it cold? Does it rain? Does it snow? These are some of the burning questions surrounding the red planet.
Yeah.
But the mystery of the weather on Mars is actually quite clear.
Mars, we know, used to be very much wetter and probably warmer. It used to have standing bodies of liquid water, flowing rivers.
Can't
Liquid
believe
water.
this. Huh? Yeah.
She said liquid water.
There's even evidence that there used to be rainfall on Mars. Today's climate is much drier. It's drier and much colder.
Studying the weather history of Mars has revealed some
No wonder there might have been some civilization there, bro. I mean, according to all the theories that's going on.
Possible. By this
Aliens, Martians.
logic, do you think Sun is going away from us or Sun is coming near to Earth? What is your feedback? Because they say Mars already.
One thing I know for sure is Sun will keep getting bigger. Yeah. So as it keeps getting bigger, I think it'll come closer to the planets.
But how? Mars, they are saying Mars had water, Mars was warm weather.
Yeah.
So how?
Makes me think. We'll
Let's
see.
watch this.
Yeah, maybe they'll say.
some similarities to Earth.
So in some ways, Mars's weather actually does resemble the Earth in that we have things like tornadoes, big storm fronts, high winds.
All the
In
extreme
ways that
weathers.
The poles of the Earth are cold and the equator is warm. Similar thing on Mars, but Mars is really a different environment. So whereas here on Earth we have this nice oxygen-rich atmosphere that allows us all to breathe, on Mars the atmosphere is not only almost completely carbon dioxide, it's very, very, very thin.
While the red planet is uninhabited, there are some unique weather phenomenon.
Routinely, Mars has regional dust storms, which would be sort of continental scale if they were on Earth. And every few Mars years, some of those regional storms just explode and end up going to be a global dust storm, and they envelop the entire planet in a thick layer of dust.
They also create smaller storms and these tornadoes, these dust devils as well.
These are all the pictures from
And one of
real
the
pictures.
Possibly, yeah.
Things is that you can actually look up pictures of these dust devils that have been taken by Mars orbiting missions. And you can see them actually like tracing their path along Mars, casting a shadow in some cases.
As future NASA missions continue to study the red planet, the Mars weather will be less foreign.
The Mars Environmental Dynamics Analyzer, or MEDA, is a surface weather station that will fly on the Perseverance
This is
rover.
that rover.
Rover, yes.
It will measure the pressure, temperature, relative humidity, and wind speed and direction, as well as be able to monitor the dust amount and, in fact, be able to even tell us something about the dust particle sizes on Mars.
Okay. So it's obviously extreme weathers.
Extreme weathers. These rovers are already in Mars now.
Rovers.
But we have video about it. So what is next video?
This one. How are we going
To the moon.
to the moon?
Okay. So NASA is having their plan, Artemis 1, 2, 3, to go to moon. Let's see how they want to plan.
Okay.
Between 1968 and 1972, America launched 9 human missions.
You know, once before going to this video, so many people are saying that, people never went to the moon. Have you heard that?
I know, yeah.
I don't know, bro, how they can think like that. They don't believe in humanity so much. I know there's a lot of conspiracies regarding
Definitely.
these things and control over the population, but I don't think this is... otherwise, how could they discover so many things and so many planets and everything, apart from the telescope?
Yes.
You think, right, that it's real?
It's real, definitely.
So obviously real.
Human landed on moon, definitely.
To the moon, 6 of which successfully touched down, allowing 12 men to walk on the lunar surface. NASA's next chapter of lunar exploration, called Artemis, has the task of not just going to the moon to create a long-term human presence on and around it, but also to prepare for ever more complex human missions to Mars. In short, everything we must be able to do here, we must
Whoa.
first do here. So, what will an Artemis mission look like? Everything is designed and tested with our most important element in mind, the astronauts. This is their deep space, human-rated spacecraft called Orion, built in 3 parts. The crew module, where up to 4 astronauts will live and work throughout the flight. The service module, with life support systems for the crew and its own engine and fuel reserves. And a launch abort system, with engines capable of pulling the crew module to safety during launch should anything go wrong. To accomplish the task of launching our crew and heavy payloads, NASA is building the Space Launch System, comprising of a cargo hold, an exploration upper stage, a massive core stage, and 2 extended solid rocket boosters. Altogether, this is the world's most powerful rocket, and it exceeds the legendary Saturn V of the Apollo era in numerous ways. Sitting on the launch pad, the entire rocket, fully fueled, weighs just over 6 million pounds, 5.2 million of which is just the fuel. Once ignited, there is no stopping what comes next. All 4 RS-25 engines and the 2 solid rocket boosters come to life, thundering our crew upwards. 2 minutes after ignition, the solid rocket boosters are spent and...
It looks like a music video.
Yeah.
But it looks so cool, bro.
Well animated video. it is.
Amazing. It's so informative, obviously. How old is this video?
You have to check it. I think not very old.
It's 4 years ago.
4 years.
So definitely, I think there would have been more better rockets right now.
Not yet. Starship is better than this,
Huh.
but this is one of the best rockets.
Released. 8 minutes after launch, the core stage is depleted and separated. The upper stage fires briefly, placing Orion into a parking orbit around the Earth. Here, the crew reconfigure the spacecraft and check systems to confirm everything is ready for deep space travel. With a go from mission control, the crew reignite the exploration upper stage engines to leave Earth entirely. The exact timing of this maneuver is critical to reach a speed that can escape Earth's gravitational pull, but also put Orion on a course that will intersect the moon days later. Once this burn is complete, the upper stage of the SLS is jettisoned and the crew aboard Orion coast for several days toward all that awaits them at the moon. Approaching the moon, we see the fundamental differences between Artemis and Apollo. Instead of requiring Orion to serve as an expendable lunar command module or to carry a constrained lunar lander, the Artemis missions will take advantage of a different approach: pre-staging. Everything needed for lunar missions will be positioned in advance by commercial and international partners. This includes rovers, science experiments, and human-rated systems on the surface. But it also includes
I think now they can include a lot of AI also right into this.
Yeah.
dedicated lunar station in orbit around the moon called Gateway. Here at this station, we can pre-stage a robust lunar lander and establish a strong communications relay. Designed with open standards, the Gateway can be expanded as new missions and partnerships develop, allowing multiple human missions on the moon at the same time and enabling ongoing science to be conducted even between human missions. The Gateway is also capable of adjusting its orbit to allow access to every part of the moon, something the Apollo missions could not do. But the real key in this approach is placing Gateway in a unique halo orbit to perfect the maneuvers needed for Mars missions. And with the growing list of commercial and international opportunities, Gateway is the ideal hub between Earth and all that lies beyond. Returning to our crew as they approach Gateway, the Orion must match the elliptical orbit of the station in order to successfully dock. Once on board,
It looks so cool.
pre-selected crew members transfer to the lunar lander, while those assigned to Gateway remain on station. The lunar lander system itself is built for 3 unique steps: descending from the halo orbit of Gateway down to a low lunar orbit, descending from low lunar orbit to the surface, and once the lunar mission is complete, launching from the surface of the moon and ascending all the way back to the orbiting Gateway. Once back aboard the Orion spacecraft and undocked from Gateway, the crew fire their engine once to break out of the halo orbit and once again to sling the spacecraft around the moon, placing it on a multi-day trajectory back towards Earth. As they near the end of the
It's
Coming
amazing.
back, because
It's
they always
quite
have to,
technical to understand,
yes.
but it's
But yeah, docking and all that, I think after watching these movies, certain movies, understood.
journey, the service module is released, and the crew module is oriented heat shield first. Entering Earth's atmosphere at 25,000 miles per hour, the friction of air slows Orion considerably, while also subjecting it to temperatures of 5,000 degrees. With the Orion now at just 300 miles per hour, a series of parachutes uniquely tested and produced for this moment deploy, decelerating the craft to just 20 miles per hour for splashdown. With each successful mission, Artemis ushers in the next wave of men and women to explore our moon and prove that together we are ready to go beyond.
Nice.
this is very
This
ambitious
is an amazing
project
video.
from NASA. I hope they get success with this.
There are so many videos, we just miss out one of the best ones.
Definitely.
Good thing you showed me this. What was the name of this?
Artemis.
Yeah, Artemis. Okay, the next one.
Next one. Okay.
What NASA's Perseverance rover has learned after 10 months on Mars.
Mars.
Okay, 2 years ago. See what it has learned.
Touchdown confirmed.
On February 18th, NASA's Mars 2020 mission touched down on the Red Planet.
Seeking the signs of past life.
Since then, its Perseverance rover and Ingenuity helicopter have been exploring the terrain and sending back never-before-seen images and video of the Martian surface.
The Mars 2020 mission, Mars Perseverance, has had a string of firsts. The first sounds from Mars.
Can you hear that
We
sound?
can now hear the wind on another world. More practical.
This is
Sounds
Mars.
very
the
ghostly.
first test of a new onboard navigation system that gives a rover on Mars greater independence in how it can guide itself around potential hazards.
So we haven't just been driving, we've actually been continuing some of our tech demos.
Jennifer Trosper is NASA's Perseverance project manager. She's been working on the mission for the past 7 years.
We took along 2 technology demonstrations. One is an instrument called MOXIE that actually uses the carbon dioxide atmosphere and then produces oxygen. And then, of course, the other technology demonstration that we have been successful with is showing that you can fly helicopters on Mars.
Now, after over 10 months on Mars, what have we learned from Perseverance and Ingenuity that we didn't know before?
Look at that, bro.
And
Yeah.
are we any closer to figuring out if Mars has what NASA set out to find? Signs of ancient life.
Yeah.
The only way to answer it, NASA believes, is to do what they're doing now. Go to another planet, assess it thoroughly.
Bro, I have this one thing though. Do you think if they find out something like that, Will they tell the public? Will they tell the people of the world?
Definitely not.
Because
But,
I'm pretty sure they're going to have things like, yeah, it's going to cause mass panic around people, and also we are not going to disclose such information. But I feel that's what they're going to do. And then if
Yeah.
they figure it out now, they're going to tell it after 10 years. I feel this is what's been
Possibly,
happening. Because so many things are there. I'm pretty sure there are so many things we can't even imagine which are there. But we don't know about it.
That is why every country should have their own space research organization. And
Bro, I it's not just the other countries. I feel India would do the same, bro.
Will do the same.
Because they don't want to create a mass panic. They want to control people the way that, that's going on. The way things are being controlled. They want that system to be the same way. Because if suddenly, people get to know all these things are there, it'll be an insightful thing to them. They start questioning a lot of things. The system might break. People might start thinking for themselves. This is how it's going to go. I'm pretty sure.
I have one comment here. USA should responsibly share as much as information to all the people in the world. Why? Because they are the superpower. They have their one of the best economy in the world, dollar, and they can fund as much dollar as they want in space project, militaries, or whatever. So whatever they have seen in Mars, seen in Moon, it has to be published in their website so that other space organization can learn from that.
Exactly, but I think in terms of competition, they're not going to do that. Because they want to stand
country, democratic country, they should share this information.
Responsibility is, I think, they take another meaning for it, bro. They're only going to be competitive. They're going to do that. I'm pretty sure they're not going to disclose a lot of things, except for some whistleblowers who come along the way. And then you saw the recent UFO video that they had released.
I have seen few of them, but not recently.
Yeah, first they said, okay, the US government released this video from the Pentagon. But then later on, many people said it's all fake, and I don't know how far it's true again. Or I also feel sometimes it might be a deception. They show this thing suddenly, and then behind the scenes something else is happening. It's like to divert your, attention.
Possible.
Yeah, attention is the main currency nowadays. Attention is the key for everything.
Sure.
This thing is going
as
to
Indians, our trust is on ISRO.
Yeah, that's the only thing that at least we can fall back to in India, right?
Let's watch this.
Let's finish this.
And then attempt to find the chemistry and fossils that will prove one way or another whether there is life of any sort we can recognize on a planet other than our own.
One of the most important milestones took place in mid-August when Perseverance began collecting rock core samples. NASA is planning to retrieve Perseverance's Martian rock samples with another spacecraft, which is expected to launch from Earth in 2026 and arrive at Mars in 2028.
One of the big unanswered questions that NASA faces in its search for life and the collection of these samples on Mars is, can we muster the will and the funding and the engineering expertise to actually bring these samples home? Right now, there are plans on the drawing board, there are speeches, there are intentions, but it's a long time between now and the 2030s when these missions that are being projected, being talked about to bring these things
But
home.
a lot will change. It changes so fast. I'm pretty sure a lot of things will change right by that time.
In April, the Ingenuity helicopter became the first craft to fly in the atmosphere of another planet.
This technology demonstration was one for the history books. This helicopter, which was initially officially designed to carry out just 5 flights as a technology demonstration, has been flying it seems sometimes continuously.
The next flights tested the helicopter's ability to move horizontally, and it covered longer distances in each
Looks like that thing is just enjoying alone there, bro. It's just going here and there.
flight. Ingenuity has now flown 18 times.
when we get over to the Delta, Ingenuity can again be used as a scout to really point Perseverance to the best places scientists.
Wait, that's obviously animated, right? Yeah, it's written
It
there.
should be
Typically
animated.
to
It's
go. I
animated.
think if she's still living, we have lots of opportunities for scouting as we move forward in the mission.
NASA selected Jezero Crater as Perseverance's landing site because it gives the rover access to a large stack of rocks that sits at the end of a dry river valley. Based on satellite images, scientists have theorized that these rocks are made of sediment deposited by an ancient river that flowed into a lake roughly 3.5 billion years ago.
So Jezero Crater is essentially, if you're
River in Mars 3.5 billion years ago. So
it definitely could have had life, but in different forms beyond our understanding. I'm pretty sure it's there, bro. Or they saw their planet is going to, reach that state of extinction, and they would have maybe, traveled already outside, created something and traveled. Maybe they would have been much more advanced, because 3.6 billion years ago, right? So they had enough time to become, as smart as they could have been, and leave the planet, interstellar travel, galactic travels, and all.
If you're looking for signs of ancient microbial life on Mars, this is the place to go. It's the location for finding it because of that delta that we see there.
NASA selected its landing site because scientists have long suspected the area was once covered in water and therefore had the potential for the development of life as we know it.
But they only could target this in the broadest outlines from orbit. Now they have boots on the ground, or wheels if you prefer.
Indicate chute deployed.
Perseverance landed more than a mile away from the cliffs at the front of the delta and started taking high-res pictures to survey the distant rocks.
We basically...
These are real rocks.
Yeah.
Delta and started taking high-res pictures to survey the
Crazy, no?
Definitely.
distant rocks.
We basically looked at the...
Bro, it's one thing to see all these things in the picture, but and if you think of Mars, right? But when you land on Mars, when you're standing there, I'm pretty sure it'll just feel like you're on Earth, but some extreme part of the planet.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Possibly
different
Middle East.
stratigraphy that we saw and wanted to confirm that we were right, that this really is a delta with a river inflow and it was deposited and there was a lake here. And based on that, we actually were able to confirm that.
On October 7th, NASA scientists published the mission's first study in the journal Science. Based off those images, the study found that for potentially millions of years, a river flowed into a lake that filled Jezero Crater.
We actually
It's
have
confirmed.
a set of samples that is very good for the lower crater area. We have 4 core samples. We will have 30 that we can return to Earth. We'll collect more than that and then we'll down select. And that Earth return is in the early 2030s.
In December, NASA scientists confirmed yet another long-held suspicion that the Martian bedrock on which Perseverance rover has been driving since February likely formed from red-hot magma.
This was a big surprise to us. Certainly not what we expected to find, that these are in fact volcanic rocks.
This is Perseverance project scientist Ken Farley speaking at a recent conference.
If in this picture, it looks like some huts there.
Volcanic rocks.
This is Perseverance project scientist Ken Farley speaking at a recent conference about the finding.
This was completely unexpected and we are struggling to understand what it means. But I will speculate. So this appears to be a product that was either intruded into or erupted into the crater or flowed in from outside. But we don't know exactly how that would work.
Although it landed on the Martian surface in February, Perseverance's sample return mission has only really just started to get underway.
Well, the core samples are the hard evidence, and I do mean hard evidence, of something that we have been speculating about for the longest time. We want to have some tangible, for the longest time, we want to have some tangible evidence. something that we can put under a
Did you find any
microscope,
footsteps of alien?
No.
we can run genetic samples on, something that we can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt is not the product of our creation, but is the product of a separate creation on another world.
This is one
That's
of the best
very
video.
Amazing point. Important point.
People should watch this video.
Yeah.
And we have done the research, and it is easy for the people watching this video to have all the videos in one
Understanding.
podcast.
Yeah, one thing. Okay.
So since we have seen about NASA, now my favorite, Elon Musk. What is he doing with his travel to Mars? Let's see.
How will SpaceX's Starship transform space travel?
Yeah.
Reuters. Okay.
Heating and the loads that Starship is going through right now.
This video shows the moment just before SpaceX's Starship rocket disintegrated and crashed down to Earth during its third test flight on March 14.
Looks like a whale.
But the mission was still hailed as a key milestone.
This was definitely a milestone flight.
The mega rockets got farther than ever before, marking significant progress in the development of a spacecraft, crucial to SpaceX's satellite launch business and NASA's moon program.
Do you want the future where we become a spacefaring civilization and are in many worlds and are out there among the stars, or one where we are forever confined to Earth?
SpaceX, founded by Elon Musk in 2002, says Starship is the most powerful launch vehicle ever developed. The mega rocket is more than 390 feet high, almost 30 feet wide, and is capable of carrying a payload up to 165 tons. Both the lower stage Super Heavy booster rocket and the upper stage Starship cruise vessel.
One sec.
Sure.
The lower stage Super Heavy booster rocket and the upper stage Starship cruise vessel are designed as reusable components, capable of flying back to Earth for a soft landing. Laura Forsick is a founder of space consulting firm Astrolytical.
Now, Starship is a completely different vehicle. It's meant to be completely reusable at some point. It's even envisioned to bring 100 tons to the surface of the moon. That's what we're talking about, something that's never been fathomed before.
Musk
That's so good, right?
is counting on Starship to fulfill his goal of producing a next-generation spacecraft capable of sending people and cargo to the moon later this decade and ultimately flying to Mars.
Any predictions on when Starship might land on Mars without crew, maybe a crewed flight? Any prediction there?
I think 3 or 4 years.
Closer to home, Musk also sees Starship as eventually replacing the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket in the company's commercial launch business. NASA also has a lot riding on the success of Starship. The space agency is giving the rocket system a central role in its Artemis program that aims to return astronauts to the moon as early as 2026.
Connected to the previous video.
Yes.
Starship's recent test flight achieved many of the engineering goals set for the mission.
It hit a lot of targets that it did not hit with the last integrated test flight. It was able to launch with all 33 Raptor engines. It was able to do a complete separation of the booster from Starship. It was able to
Look at the proudness on her face. She's so happy. Good.
Yeah.
light some of those engines and do a test of the payload bay doors opening and closing them. It didn't quite get some of those final milestones, attempting a soft splashdown in the ocean, nor was the Starship able to return to the Earth to re-entry. However, it did make it to space, and that's the biggest milestone.
SpaceX officials have said they plan to conduct at least 6 more test flights of Starship in 2024, subject to regulatory approval. The company's engineering culture is built on a light testing strategy that pushes spacecraft to the point of failure. It then fine-tunes improvements through frequent repetition. The recent test encompassed a fraction of the remaining demonstrations and missions Starship must get through before it is proven safe enough to fly people to space.
SpaceX needs to prove that Starship...
I think This
is
is enough.
100% safe
Yeah.
before it takes astronauts on board. It needs to safely be able to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere and
That's
then
important.
land. And in order to prove to itself that it's safe enough, it needs to do it in one of these test flights. So that's that last step that it did not accomplish today, but will hopefully accomplish in the near future.
I think it already has.
Yeah.
No,
no,
just
it
4
has
weeks
not.
ago.
They are still trying on that. They have to get some regulatory approval for that. So, Starship is expected to send peoples to Mars.
Okay.
So, according to Elon Musk's promise. So, now we have seen NASA, SpaceX, what they're doing. Let's see China. Let's see Chinese space missions.
China, no comments. They're good, but yeah.
China has also sent one space station.
Okay.
Tiangong, their own space station. It is like whatever international space station NASA has is built by support of different countries like Russia, Japan, and few European countries. But China has built international space station with their own ability, and around 6 astronauts can work there. So it's quite a good achievement from Chinese.
It's quite big also.
space.
Yeah. Okay, we'll watch this.
Yeah, let's watch this.
China is already a force in space, but that
China is already a force in space, the first thing.
requires continued space science. The country landed a rover on Mars in 2021, joining only the Soviet Union and the United States to have done so. But the moon offers a practical base for space exploration. And China has several missions already. The Chang'e lander returned a sample from the surface in 2020, the first time that had been done in half a century. It revealed one of the places water might be found.
Wait, is that a real video or no, right? It's animated.
Found on the
It's a real video.
in tiny glass beads, which could be useful information for future missions. Now, China runs one of only 2 places that humans can live in orbit, the Tiangong space station. On board, astronauts are measuring how their bodies react to weightlessness and how to keep fit, critical first steps to long-term missions. There are experiments on how plants grow, how combustion works in low gravity, how materials can endure the harsh effects of outer space, and an onboard supercomputer and high-speed data transmission system to the ground. China is already preparing to take the lead in space, along with those who may partner with it.
Yeah.
China is all.
This is what I was telling you about. The way they're saying it, right? It's so competitive.
Yeah, it's a competitive game of space race. So every country wants to go ahead, get ahead. And I feel China is in number 1. Even though NASA, SpaceX is working hard, China is...
They have their own way of working into things, right? See, this is where I was telling you about, revealing information.
Yes.
What if they find something and then they use that information to improve their own country?
Correct.
And their own infrastructures and their military and all that. They don't want to say this to somebody else. And that's the thing. I mean, I feel they're never going to,
I don't have any expectation from China.
No, neither China or any other country, I'm saying, like.
Correct.
Other than only few people who come out and say, right?
Yes.
The whistleblowers, I think after even those things that they expose, right? It's not going to come out like it has to come out. They're going to somehow eliminate that possibility with all kind of distractions.
Sure.
Okay, so
next video, China's moon mission.
This one, right?
Yes.
China prepping more moon
So
missions.
it was very difficult to find information
Flying
about
vehicle.
China's space mission.
Okay.
So after quite a lot of research, we have found these 2 videos, and let's watch that.
Okay. Yeah. Lunar drill sample.
月工程4期呢，一共包括4次任务，包括嫦娥4号，这个已经实施完了。目前呢，嫦娥6号和嫦娥7号正在研制。目前呢，嫦娥6号和嫦娥7号呢，一共包括4次任务，包括嫦娥4号，这个已经实施完了。目前呢，嫦娥6号和嫦娥7号正在研制。嫦娥6号呢是2024年左右发射，将在月球背面采样返回。嫦娥7号呢将于这个2026年左右发射，着陆到月球南极，开展月球南极的资源探测。
Okay, I did not understand most of the things. I was not even able to pause in this video, bro.
No
What
issues.
is this?
So it's quite interesting. I'll explain you.
Okay, now it's pausing.
It's a different video.
Okay. Forget it. So basically,
basically to explain, they have their plans of going to moon, and like Artemis 1, 2, 3, which US had, they have Chang'e 1, 2, 3, 4, and they will get full success with Chang'e 7. So that is what they are very advanced in terms of space.
so that's the main understanding. From
main
this video.
understanding of this.
She only spoke in Chinese, which it's not even able to pause. Okay, we'll go to the next one.
Next video, definitely. So this image shows the
Mars
graph,
and Moon
yeah.
rovers going the distance.
So-
Longest distance traveled by Mars and Moon rovers in miles. Opportunity 2004 to 2018, 28.1 mile.
Then Soviet Union, then again US, again Soviet Union. So there are other rovers also.
Okay.
But these robots have traveled long distances.
So basically, the first one is Opportunity.
But that is less
2000.
advanced. They didn't have that many.
But
good
still, it
technology.
traveled
Traveled
the
so
most.
much, yeah. Yeah.
That says otherwise, bro. I don't know. Curiosity 16.9.
So India has recently dropped a rover in farther side of moon, near the South Pole. So that is not there in the graph.
Okay, I think we're done with this.
Yeah, we are done with it. So let's come to India now.
India's budget mission to Mars explained. Bro, this was 9 years ago.
9 years ago, because this explains our mission about Mars.
And then the evolution of it.
Yeah.
Making it to Mars is a huge achievement for any space agency. And by putting a probe into orbit, the Indian Space Agency has become part of an elite group of space explorers. It's also become the world's first no-frills, low-cost space agency.
Low cost, that is one thing we're good at, right? Low cost.
In its closest orbit,
Reducing the expense.
Yes. In a very smart way.
Mars is almost 35 million miles away. But the Mangalyaan probe travelled more than 420 million miles to align with the red planet. It took 300 days, but cost just £45 million. Now that might sound a lot, but compare...
What is it? Mangalyaan. Mangalyaan probe. Okay.
that to NASA's latest mission to put a probe into orbit there. That cost
Bro, look at the difference, bro.
1/10 of it.
£109 million. That mission, called MAVEN, was also successful. The much larger probe entered the Martian orbit on Monday. MAVEN's mission is to study the atmosphere of the planet to build up a better understanding of the current and past climate conditions. NASA and the Indian Space Research Organisation are likely to share data as Mangalyaan is on a similar mission. And another famous NASA explorer, the Curiosity rover, welcomed the Indian mission to Mars this morning via its Twitter account.
Okay, so anyway, this was the old video. Now
Yes.
they would have improved so much.
This is what happens is scientist wants to send rover or orbiter for different reasons.
Okay.
Mars orbiter, which India sent, will not orbit around Mars quite near to Mars. It has a different orbit actually.
Okay.
So possibly they are learning about weather in Mars, the atmosphere in Mars. But the Mars program orbiter of US,
Okay.
they're taking the photos of Mars.
Yeah, they're very near.
So they're very near. Those orbiters are very near.
Probably that's why the expenses were more.
Expenses are
the
quite
cameras and the
possible,
pixels, everything.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so we're done with this, right?
Yeah, we are done with the Mars. This is a small video.
Okay.
I think by now most of Indians know what is India's Mars mission.
Definitely. Okay, what was this?
This is about India's moon landing, Chandrayaan-3. India has done 3 missions, Chandrayaan-1, Chandrayaan-2, Chandrayaan-3. So Chandrayaan-3 was definitely successful.
Why is India's moon landing important? India has become the first country to land a spacecraft on the moon's southern region. But what does this mean and why is it significant?
Let's watch this. Let's watch.
Okay.
Normal. India has become the first country to land a spacecraft on the moon's southern region. But what does this mean and why is it significant?
जी हाँ, आप अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं कि हम
3, 2, 1, 0.
India's space rocket was launched on the 14th of July from Sriharkota on the eastern coast. 41 days later, the spacecraft made a soft landing on the moon's southern region for the first time ever. Chandrayaan-3, which means moon vehicle in Sanskrit, deposited a lander and a 6-wheel rover.
I remember there were some other things named after Shiva and Shakti, right, in this?
Yes. The point where rover had its first contact with moon.
Okay.
Lander. So that is known as Shiva Shakti.
Okay.
Which will begin gathering data for 1 lunar daylight period, the equivalent of 14 Earth days. The lunar South Pole is of particular interest to scientists because of its permanently shadowed polar craters. Scientists believe they may contain frozen water in the rocks that future explorers could transform into air and rocket fuel.
Crazy, no? So we are the first one to land on that side of the moon.
China has landed, but not so near as India.
So we might be finding out something new overall.
Fuel. The presence of water ice could also support a future space station.
The ceremony of planting the stars and stripes on the surface of the moon.
Only 3 countries, the United States, the former Soviet Union and China, have landed spacecrafts on the moon's surface, but none has landed near the moon's south pole until now. India attempted to land a spacecraft on the moon 4 years ago, but the mission failed.
200 stages are separated.
The unprecedented feat now advances India's position as a major space power. Russia recently tried to land a rocket on the South Pole, but the spacecraft crashed into
Russia failed, but India was successful in this.
Moon following a failed orbital maneuver.
Before they say it, what does this mean for India? You tell me.
It means a lot. The plan is to go to Mars, but we need one stop before going to Mars.
Yeah.
We need fuel our spacecraft before going to Mars, which can happen through moon.
Yeah.
And we know there is water in moon, and the formula of water is H2O.
Yeah, exactly.
There is a hydrogen in that.
Yeah.
So hydrogen is again a fuel, rocket fuel.
Yes.
So we can take that fuel, power our spacecraft, and go to moon. So it's very good.
I feel for India, it's something that we have something to say about proudly.
Yes.
As of now, this. And yeah, you know the way most of them, the other countries, the way they see India. This is a very factual thing. It's not like we have to sugarcoat it and all. They have a pretty different view about India. All these things, right? It's definitely a big thing.
Congratulations, India. Chandrayaan-3 has started its journey towards moon.
This mission has propelled India into a leading space exploration country, a prominent player in the global community, and with a surge of national pride. India is...
Did you see Modi's face? He was so happy.
Also increasing its collaboration with the United States, Japan, and other countries for future space missions, including one with NASA for a joint mission to the International Space Station next year.
Joint mission.
Joint mission. India has partnered with US.
International Space Station, ISS.
For,
Okay.
Artemis project which US NASA is taking care. India has joined with US for that. China has similar projects. China's project is known as ILRS, Lunar Research. So Russia, China has partnered. That program has Pakistan is also a member there. It's quite surprising. Pakistan is a member there.
Suddenly out of nowhere. But that's good.
So this photo explains where Chandrayaan-3 landing site is.
Here
and it's very near to South Pole.
Crazy. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, how long has it been now since this landing? Any idea?
It's been a quite long time. The propulsion system which were used to land the rover, we have got it back and it is orbiting the Earth now.
It's just amazing. Okay, next one.
Next one.
Crafting India's space future at the Gaganyaan astronaut training facility. Wow.
This is one of the ambitious project of India. They want to send few Indian Air Force personnel to moon. So they have to go through few training process for that.
Okay.
Russia is helping us with that. France is helping us with that. So what is their daily routine? We can see this.
Okay.
The wonders of space have always captivated humanity.
I mean, just look at that picture, bro. Where do we stand in such a place? To see it on screen, it is like this. But imagine outside how it is.
For the maiden Indian human spaceflight mission, Gaganyaan, ISRO, in collaboration with the Indian Air Force, selected the crew from a pool of talented test pilots. These pilots underwent a battery of clinical, aeromedical, and psychological tests. Finally,
And you see that thing, bro? Look at that.
Aeromedical and psychological tests.
Aeromedical.
Finally, the National Crew Selection Board recommended 4 test pilots from the Indian Air Force for the Gaganyaan crew training.
Nice. So they are ready.
They're ready.
Program. The selected crew members were trained at the Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center, Russia, for a period of about 13 months. This training covered various aspects of a space mission, such as parabolic flights, survival training in off-nominal snow, desert, and water landing, as well as
Oh my god, so much of rigorous training.
Yes.
extreme environment stressors. After returning, the astronauts are being trained in the newly established training facility. Through the Gaganyaan crew training simulators, mock-ups, and state-of-the-art virtual reality tools, the space crew is also getting trained in various human-centric products and survival scenarios. Physical fitness of the crew is maintained through a rigorous physical training regime. A specialized yoga module is also incorporated in the physical training curriculum for holistic health management of the astronauts. They will also be assigned for ISRO NASA mission to the International Space Station, announced by the Honorable Prime Minister. This incredible feat will take Bharat to greater heights.
Yes.
Definitely, yes. So this is about
Gaganyaan.
Gaganyaan.
Just a month ago.
So next video is quite interesting.
SpaceX, Blue Origin.
So before that, I'll ask you a few questions. Like,
Okay.
Are you interested to travel to space?
I definitely am interested, but there's a lot of when I say I'm interested, there's a lot of things behind it still. Like, one is I'm ready, bro.
You're ready.
I'm ready.
So
despite whatever training required, yeah, I'm ready. I would like to go, but one thing comes to your mind:
What
the
is it?
travel time
Okay.
and the people we leave behind. All these
Okay.
things. You know, there's this movie which made me think about all this recently. You know, Adam Sandler is one of the best actors I've seen, and his movie came out called The Spaceman recently, and that movie actually did, and even Interstellar also did make me think, like, you know, the time for traveling and the people waiting for you at home, all these things.
These
A
space
lot of
travel is
sacrifices.
nothing but they're just taking you to space and they will show you the Earth. And are you confused whether Earth is
Flat Earth or not? No, I'm not a flat earther. Earth is round because of the spherical part,
Yes.
right? A lot of things are possible. Cycles happen because of spheres and all these things. So that's the reason I don't believe that Earth is flat. And I don't know how can they still think that Earth is flat. It's like some plate. So yeah, should we continue this?
Yeah, we'll continue this.
Okay. You have some, before we go, you have some movies to suggest, right?
Movies, should I tell them now or later?
You can tell them now.
Okay.
Because I already said a movie's name. So
Okay.
that movie is called The Spaceman by Adam Sandler. You should definitely watch that movie.
Okay.
Who
Top
knows?
10 movies of
Skinny
space.
Human. Okay.
I will read it down. The Martian,
Yeah, The Martian is
2015.
good. Yeah.
Star Wars,
Mhm.
1977.
Not the new ones.
Not the new ones.
New
Alien.
ones is filled with a lot of woke things, bro. It's
Okay. Third one is Alien, 1979.
Yeah.
Solaris, 1972.
Okay.
Interstellar,
Yeah.
2014.
One of the best ever.
Yes. Apollo 13,
Mhm.
1995. Wall-E, 2008.
Wall-E again here. Wall-E
Again here.
will come everywhere, bro. It's a
AI,
beautiful
space
movie.
everywhere.
Yeah.
The Right Stuff, 1983.
Okay.
Moon, 2009.
Okay.
Gravity, 2013.
Okay. Gravity is also good. Okay, apart from these, I have a few more recommendations, but it's not, I don't know the dates exactly, but I can tell.
Okay.
One is The Arrival,
Okay.
and one is Predators. It's an old movie. Have you seen Predators?
No.
Arnold movie.
No.
It's an amazing Predators. Then later on, many other things came, like Predators, the Aliens versus Predators, all these things. But these are all the dark side of aliens, I'm saying. Arrival is not dark side, but still, it's an amazing movie. Then, which other? Yeah, like I said, The Spaceman. There are many more. For now, I think these many recommendations is enough.
So then this will be our last video.
Okay.
And let's see.
Okay. So,
SpaceX.
How SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic plan to take you to space.
SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic are in a modern space race. Similar to when the United States and the Soviet Union competed to get astronauts on the moon, these billionaire-run companies are racing to bring people like you and me to space. But how will they do it? Let's start with Blue Origin, the passion project of Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos.
From Jeff Bezos. Look at that.
Origin's focus is on commercial spaceflight, or space tourism. It plans to shoot a booster rocket with an attached passenger capsule to 60 miles above the surface into suborbital space. At the top of the rocket's arch, the capsule will detach, and for about 4 minutes, passengers will experience weightlessness. They'll be allowed to unbuckle their seatbelts and float around the cabin, looking out the window at the curvature of the Earth. The capsule will then start to fall back into the atmosphere, and parachutes will deploy to bring it down slowly. The whole trip only lasts about 11 minutes.
What?
That's it. It's not long visit.
A ticket on Blue
How 11 minutes?
11 minutes in space.
Oh, okay.
Origin's New Shepard will likely cost more than $200,000. That's over $18,000 a minute. Blue Origin
Yeah, I know that's a trip once in a lifetime.
Yes.
So you can,
has tested the New Shepard rocket 9 times, and the company still hopes to send civilians into space in 2018.
2018. So that means now they're already doing it.
Virgin Galactic also aims to make commercial space travel accessible, but the vehicle it's using looks quite different.
Look at that. It's like 3 planes.
It's quite different, and I like this design.
It's a very different design and very cool design. Cool looking.
Virgin Galactic's SS Unity looks more like a plane than a rocket. The ship is made up of the White Knight 2, a carrier airplane, and Spaceship 2, a passenger spaceship. Spaceship 2 can carry 6 passengers and 2 crew members. The passenger ship detaches from the carrier plane about 9 miles above the Earth's surface.
Like that.
Ship then fires its rocket engines to blast about 50 miles further until it reaches suborbital space. Similar to Blue Origin, passengers will experience 4 to 5 minutes of weightlessness before the ship re-enters the atmosphere. The total trip should last about 2.5 hours. Virgin Galactic has conducted 3 rocket-powered test flights of the SS Unity, and it hopes to get its first passengers to space by the end of 2018. Founder Richard Branson will be one of
Heavy competition. I know Richard Branson.
the first people to take the trip. And Virgin Galactic has already sold 700 tickets for future flights, costing $250,000 each. Elon Musk's company SpaceX also wants to send people to space. SpaceX's ultimate goal is to establish colonies on other planets. The ship SpaceX intends to send to Mars could hold 100 people, and the ride would be a lot longer than 4 minutes. But SpaceX also plans to send people to space on their way to other earthly destinations. The Big Falcon rocket will briefly enter space to make long-distance travel shorter. Traveling by rocket from New York to Tokyo, for example, would only take 37 minutes, and it would take no more than an hour to get anywhere.
This is like what? Custom flying. Instead of using flights, they use these.
So it's Earth to Earth. Earth to Moon, Earth to Mars, Earth to Earth.
On Earth. Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, and SpaceX are major players in the modern space race, but there are even more companies out there. It's estimated that space tourism could generate 1.6
You see that?
more companies
Boeing.
out there. It's estimated that space tourism could generate
Axiom Space. Wow.
$1.6 billion in revenue in the next decade. So no matter which
SpaceX.
company crosses this finish line first,
Oh, shit, that looks so cool, bro.
there will inevitably be another race. After all, space is infinite.
That's true. Okay.
So
we're done with the last video.
We're done with the last, and we should conclude this.
Yes.
Space videos.
But before that, you asked me. I did not ask you. Would you like to go to space?
Definitely. Now the technology has made the space travel much safer. And I would like to take a few of my friends and see the Earth through space. And
But it's still not guaranteed, right? How safe it is.
it is quite safe. I have not seen any of these rockets having any
crashing or
issues,
anything.
crashing or something. So it is very successful, and I have seen few Netflix videos of SpaceX sending people to space. And
Out of these 3, which one would you choose?
I would
SpaceX,
choose
Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic.
SpaceX for sure.
I think I would choose SpaceX too. Okay, fine. We can conclude now. So,
Yeah,
any questions?
I'm going to ask you to conclude this.
Okay.
So, the main goal of making this channel is to speak about spirituality.
Yeah, that's true.
Connect the real-time issues,
Mm.
problems, and solve it with spirituality.
Yeah.
But here, I feel it's quite a difficult task for you to connect space and spirituality. Give us some good conclusion.
Space and spirituality. I think everything will come under spirituality, right?
Yeah.
Because spirituality is, there's no end to it. I feel there is no start to it or end to it, because it is a complete, that's all I can say. Like it has no end. And that day we were having a discussion, right, with one of our friend.
Yes.
Then when we were telling him about spirituality, and before we could record this video, and he said, human beings, first they say that the trees are gods, and then they cut down the trees. Then later they say sun is God, all the planets are gods, and later now different planets we are moving forward, reaching all these things. So the impression of God keeps changing every time you reach to a certain level. It's like setting a benchmark for God at different times. Now, in terms of religion is another aspect. Yeah, we are coming to another video regarding religion and a lot of things related to it. Both the good stuff and the dark stuff too. But yeah, in terms of space, it's most based of science, right? Science. So the metaphysical part would be another thing to argue about. I don't think we can talk about that in this video, because it's all based on science, right?
For example, if SpaceX finds a way to reach Mars and they send people to Mars, what will be our new God?
Oh yeah, that. No, that is a very, very interesting question, because your mind would have expanded, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
See, because that's one reason why I think many scientists, right, they don't think about God in such a way that many religions do.
Yes.
They know that there is something, all these things happen because of some possibility. Now that possibility is what I think they refer to as God usually. But you know how every religion looks at God in different way. They look at a human being or someone in a certain way. I mean, that's just a small thing about it. But yeah, they have their own views talking about religion. But when it comes to science, do you know in India, before like all these extra religious things I'm saying, that everything that they looked around, right, was in a very scientific way. Like all these ancient yogis and sadhus and rishi, munis, all these people, right? It was very scientific, that everything that they did. The only thing is, we are talking in English sitting in India, but that is the only reason. If we were able to speak those languages which they had spoken years back, right, then everything we say would have been scientific. Now, just because I'm saying it in English, it sounds scientific. Okay. That's the only difference. It's all because of years of a lot of things happened to India.
So you are saying we should wait and watch what will be our new God, the new way of spirituality.
See, probably we won't be even alive to see such a event, because God will change. Maybe tomorrow, what if AI takes over and says, you have to look at me as the God because I'm the one who's creating all these things. You can never know. And I feel one thing is, God is very subjective, right? It's very different to many people. Maybe it might be different to an individual, might be different to a group, might be different in countries. They have certain set of instructions to always, but I feel there is no, how do I put it? Let me put it this way. There is no defined structure for God. Okay, like it's in a form. No. I feel if you see in that way, then everything that is there in this universe, every single thing, it is God. Because it is intelligence. It is happening, it is a possibility, it's right here, it is God. I don't know what else can be beyond this thing that one particular person has the power for all these things. I don't know. It's way beyond our intelligence and way beyond something that we can comprehend, because it is far out, or it might be far inside ourselves that we cannot. But in all our Indian scriptures, we have always seen, right, God is within us.
Yes.
To the most, smallest level. I would like to say a lot more, but then it would completely jump towards the religious points and all those things. I think we can keep that for the next video. But now in terms of space and God, spirituality, it's endless.
Fine. So we will end this episode today.
Yeah. I have actually, there's a lot of things coming in my mind right now to say, but I'm just holding it so that I can speak about it in the next topic, in next video. Fine. I hope you got some information from these videos, like we did, same like the last video. We'll see you in the next episode from People's Eagle Podcast. Thank you.
Thank you so much.